You know, when you look at a massive skyscraper, you're seeing the steel, the glass, all the impressive stuff. But honestly, the most important parts are completely invisible. They're the thousands of little checks and balances that prevent a small mistake from turning into a total disaster. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most powerful and yet super simple tools in a builder's arsenal, the Nonconformance Report.
Just think about that for a second. On a project with millions of individual parts, thousands of pages of blueprints, what happens when someone, somewhere, installs the wrong pipe, or uses a material that wasn't approved, or just gets a critical measurement wrong? I mean, the fallout can be anything from a ridiculously expensive rework all the way to a catastrophic failure. So how on earth do you catch these things before it's way too late?
Well, that's where this comes in, the Nonconformance Report, or NCR for short. The best way to think about it is like the project's immune system. It's not just some piece of paper. Nope. It's a formal, official process that flags a problem, tracks the fix from start to finish, and makes absolutely sure the final product meets every single requirement. It's the system that actually enforces quality on the ground.
Okay, so what kind of mistake is actually serious enough to trigger one of these NCRs? Before we jump into how the whole process works, let's take a look at the kinds of errors this system is specifically designed to catch on a chaotic, busy construction site.
You know, the triggers for an NCR are all over the map. It could be something like an HVAC duct that's installed at the wrong angle, or a contractor trying to cut costs by using a cheaper, unapproved material. But it can get a lot more serious. It might be a major deviation from the original blueprints, or, and this is a big one, a direct violation of safety codes. We're talking about the standards set by groups like the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association. Each one of these is a major red flag that the NCR process is built to find and fix.
All right, so a problem is spotted on site. What happens next? This isn't just a casual chat or a quick note. No way. There is a methodical, step-by-step workflow that ensures every single issue is tracked, reviewed, and completely resolved, with full accountability. Let's walk through it.
See, this workflow creates this fantastic chain of accountability. It all starts when a site engineer spots a problem. But that's not enough. The quality control team has to formally issue the report. Then the contractor who made the mistake can't just go in and patch it up. They have to submit a detailed plan for how they're going to fix it. And that plan gets scrutinized by an independent consultant. Only after the fix is re-inspected and verified can the NCR finally be closed out. It's a perfect closed-loop system where nothing can just fall through the cracks.
But here's the thing. Closing out an NCR isn't just about patching up one little mistake. The real lasting value comes from what you learn from it, using that mistake to make the entire project stronger. And that brings us to a really key distinction.
So you've got two different things going on here. Corrective action versus preventive action. Corrective action is all about reacting. It fixes the specific problem that was found. If a pipe is wrong, you replace the pipe. Easy enough. But preventive action, that's proactive. It asks why the wrong pipe was installed in the first place, and then it puts a new system in place to make sure that same mistake can never, ever happen again. And this idea is really the core philosophy of any strong quality system. Look, fixing one broken part is obviously important, but figuring out why it broke and then making changes to prevent all the other parts from failing, well, that's what makes the entire machine more reliable in the long run. A good preventative action like adding a new checkpoint or a mandatory review turns a single mistake into a system-wide improvement for everyone.
Okay, so that's the theory, but let's look at a real-world case, because this is where you can really see just how powerful this simple process can be when it's put into action.
4.2 meters. What could this number possibly mean? Well, in this case, a deviation of just over a single meter could have literally been the difference between a fire being safely contained or spreading completely out of control.
So here's the breakdown. An inspector found that the hangers supporting a critical fire suppression pipe were spaced 4.2 meters apart. The problem? The fire code, specifically NFPA 13, the gold standard for sprinkler systems, demands a maximum spacing of 3 meters. Any wider, and the pipe could actually sag and fail in the intense heat of a fire. The corrective action was simple. Go in and install additional hangers. Done. But the real solution, the game changer, was the preventive action. They created a new rule. A pre-installation inspection must be signed off before any ceilings are closed up. That makes it pretty much impossible to bury this kind of mistake ever again.
And that is the whole point, right there. The NCR process didn't just make sure one pipe was safe. It identified a fundamental weakness in the workflow, that missing pre-check.
and it fixed the system itself. This one single NCR made every single future installation on that project safer and way more reliable.
So how can a simple form truly safeguard a billion-dollar project? It's by turning mistakes from liabilities into assets. It creates a clear, undeniable process for correction, sure, but way more importantly, it builds a culture of constant improvement. So the next time you see a massive structure going up, just remember, its real strength isn't only in the steel and concrete, but in the smart systems designed to catch even the smallest human error.